Welcome to Minecraft OneBlock, the game mode that starts you off with one measly block floating in the sky. That's right, it's just you, your questionable life decisions, and one lone block. But don't worry, every time you break it, it regenerates. Sometimes with helpful resources, other times with a creeper ready to explode all over you. Watch as I build up my base, expand my floating platform, and desperately try to avoid falling into the void by the end of the first day. Let's get into it. So we start out on day 0, and those of you with a keen eye may have already noticed that I have lied. My title says hardcore. Clearly, this is not hardcore. Well, don't worry, let me explain. Originally, this was never meant to be a hardcore playthrough. I started a regular, not hardcore, OneBlock playthrough and actually made quite substantial progress. Except there was one problem. I suck at Minecraft. Those of you who have watched my survival series know this well, but I have a very tough time staying alive in this game. I died again, and I died again. Normally it wouldn't be a huge issue if we were playing normal survival, but in Skyblock I was losing some resources that were extremely important to the longevity of the run, and not only that, but progress just wasn't moving as quickly because of it, and honestly I had just become quite frustrated in myself. So yeah, as you can see, just death after death after death. Even failed to do the MLG water bucket there. So as you can see, yeah, I made quite a bit of progress on this world. We had a parrot, we had an awesome tree farm, we had a normal farmland, I made this giant pool, and then a little bit of a unfinished base that I was working on at the time in the back here, with all of our storage inside. So yeah, the progress was going well, except for the dying, and I kept losing some really key items. So after this final death, I decided that was enough. I was frustrated, and I decided I was going to challenge myself. So as you can see, we're starting out here on day 0 of Hardcore OneBlock. To start off, we mine our very first block and get some dirt. It regenerates into a little bit more dirt, and it tells us that this is an infinite block, and that it spawns more than just dirt. And so we get our first couple of logs of the playthrough. Then it lets us know that the blocks do improve over time, and we get our first chest of the game. This one had a couple apples for us, which was awesome. I definitely wanted to get a source of food going as quickly as possible, with this being hardcore mode. I am then told to enlarge the platform, but for now I just wanted to collect some more resources first. A little later in the day we got another chest. This one had some seeds in it. And a little bit later we got another chest. This one had a water bucket inside. Using the water bucket, we were able to place a block underneath the OneBlock. I then built a platform underneath of the OneBlock using some oak planks. And shortly after that, we got a chest that contained our first sapling of the game, which was going to be extremely crucial to getting a solid supply of wood going. And as I continued to abuse my poor fists on the OneBlock, we were blessed by the gods with a little bit of living pork. And after my fists were thoroughly bloody, we decided to place down our first workbench of the game and craft ourselves a wooden axe as well as a wooden pickaxe to relieve our fists from the abuse. As the sun was going down on day 0, we were then blessed with some extremely undercooked chicken nuggets. I continued to expand our platform, and then planted the sapling we got earlier. Sheep! Cow! Platform expansion. More tree. And after that busy night, I decided to place down our first chests of the game, get our storage going. And ironically enough, the chest with all the hearts gave me the sapling I hate the most, birch. And that brought us all the way to day 1. As you can see, throughout the night we continued expanding the platform, and the OneBlock had gifted us with a little bit more cows and sheep and chickens and pigs. But yeah, we kept mining away at the one block. We now were at the point where the one block was giving us stone, which was awesome. I was going to be able to upgrade to stone tools soon, and now we're getting some coal. So yeah, things were progressing very nicely. We were then the lucky recipients of bovine a la fungi, which is going to make for a great source of food for the rest of the playthrough. But that's when the one block took a turn and decided to start throwing some zombies at us. Not only that, but it decided to put these stupid leather caps on them so they couldn't even burn in the sunlight. At this point, I was trying to avoid hitting my animals, but I almost fell into the void. I got dangerously close, but we were able to survive and take out both of the zombies. At this point, we upgraded to stone tools, making 2 axes and 2 pickaxes. And using that freshly acquired stone axe, we took down one of the trees that had grown. And then we got our first little bit of iron of the game. Plus we got a chest with some spruce saplings in it, which was absolutely awesome. The one block then tried to ruin my day by throwing some spiders at me, but it was daytime, so they weren't even hostile, so it was pretty easy to take care of them. And although the spiders did not ruin my day, this definitely did. I absolutely hate these massive trees that spawn in. They're such a pain in the arse to take down, but we managed, eventually taking down the tree, and at least it gave us a lot of logs. And on the night of day 1, the one block decided to spawn in a creeper. This thing was ready to come at me. Before I even really noticed him, he was already charging at us, ready to explode. So yeah, we were kind of in a weird predicament here. I couldn't really reach him from the platform on top, so I was trying to plot out how to come down, but the creeper luckily just got too excited and finished himself off a little bit early. So yeah, it didn't end up being a problem. He took out our staircase, but that was an easy fix. And at this point, all of the animals around our platform were starting to annoy me, so I decided to employ Minecraft's least effective herding technique, which is just trying to push them around with your body. Luckily, it went pretty smoothly for the first cow and the first sheep, but it did take a downturn. Oops. A little bit later, I decided that we needed a chicken army, so I introduced to you guys the beginning of the Squawk Squad. As the night progressed on day 2, we continued chipping away at the one block, re-deading the undead, and prepared for future threats by making ourselves a shield. We begin day 3 by making ourselves some leather boots. Damn, I look good. Basically just a sexier Jack Black. Even made this creeper prematurely explode. So feeling rather good about ourselves, we continue to mine away at the one block, collecting all the resources it provides us. And then we get 5 leather from the one block inside of a chest, which was awesome, because that meant we could make ourselves a sexy leather hat. On day 4, we got to work mapping out our next expansion. I've noticed that a lot of people who play one block use a lot of circles just because there's no kind of natural environment to work with, and squares and rectangles are kind of boring. So I decided to copy all of those people. I think I went a little bit overboard. This was probably too big of a area to pull off this early into the world, but I persisted nonetheless. A little later on day 4, I took down another one of these monstrous trees and used its wood to continue filling in the circle we had mapped out. And after a decent chunk of it was filled in, we expanded our tree farm. We then took down another one of these stupid trees and continued filling in the circle. On the eve of day 4, we continued bolstering the ranks of the Squawk Squad. Then, to start day 5, we improved our one-block mining operation. After spending the majority of day 5 collecting wood, I had finished the new mining operation we had set up. The way we have it set up now, any hostile mobs that spawn on the one block are going to drop down into this little area here, and they shouldn't be able to escape, and we should be able to kill them through the slots in the walls here. So yeah, this was a pretty good little design I had come up with. Definitely did not steal a design from any other similar videos I watched. That's 100% for sure, so don't even question it. And yeah, that pretty much took us to the end of day 5. But before the day was completely over, I upgraded the security of our mining operation by adding some fences at the bottom, just to ensure nothing could escape. On day 6, we were raided by a single pillager, which actually really caught me off guard, but luckily we were able to handle him with ease as he was unable to avoid the void. A little later on day 6, we continued to fill in the circle, and on the night of day 6, we were able to test out our new one-block setup. As you can see, the zombies fell into the trap perfectly, and I was able to kill them with ease from the bottom. Being new to hardcore, I was definitely being as careful as I could, and yeah, this setup was going to make things a lot easier for us. I was very happy with the way it worked out. By the end of day 6, I had finally accumulated enough iron to get some iron armor going, so we made ourselves a chest plate and equipped that. Day 7 is when I realized I made this circle way too friggin' big. But we kept placing away into the wee hours of the night. The one block was now giving us piles of snow, and then it hit us with a couple of strays. Luckily, the trap we had built earlier was working perfectly still, so they weren't a problem at all. They actually started fighting each other, so I just had to sit back and watch. And the remaining one was just one tap, so yeah, that worked out super well. I hate these trees. I then finished filling in the giant circle. So to celebrate, I began mapping out a second one. This time on the side with all of our mobs. On day 10, we were visited by a wandering trader. But unfortunately, I did not have any emeralds to trade with him, so yeah, he wasn't much use to us. Then we got to work on filling in the second circle. And then we witnessed the wandering trader abuse one of his llamas, pretending it was a yo-yo. This definitely has to be some sort of animal abuse. There's no way this is legal, but it was pretty hilarious to watch, that's for sure. So I decided to push the second llama over the edge as well. Probably could have used the leads, but this was way more fun. On day 11, we got another stupid tree. But at least it gave us enough wood that we were able to finish filling in the second circle. My god, those poor llamas. On day 12, we made some more animal pens so we could separate all of our mobs. And unfortunately, as I was trying to move one of the sheeps, I was trying to break the fence behind him, except he got in the way and died, so now I was down to just one sheep. Ah yes, the fleeting joy of Minecraft poultry parenthood. 1 second, you're a proud chicken parent, beaming as your egg hatches into a tiny, pixelated chick. The next second, the chick stares into the abyss, and the abyss wins. That poor little fluffball didn't even get a chance to process existence before gravity had other plans. No time to cluck, no time to dream, just poof. Void-bound with zero survival instincts. Truly the shortest-lived pet in Minecraft history. May it rest in peace, or well, in infinite freefall. Day 12 was a very sad day. But it had been way too long since we had last harvested the one block, so we forgot about it quickly and started getting to work. It gave us a chest with some bone meal and a jungle sapling on day 12, which was absolutely awesome. We got some dark oak logs and some gravel, bunch of good stuff. And a little earlier, the one block had actually given us a wolf, but I did not have any bones to tame it, so it was just sitting trapped inside of our trap area. So yeah, he took care of a couple of strays like nothing. This was actually working out perfectly. However, on unlucky day number 13, unfortunately a couple more strays spawned in, and these ones, they ended up beating the wolf. I jumped in to try and save him, but it was too little too late. And then I actually got a little bit nervous myself, so I sprinted off towards our tree farm for cover. Had some mushroom stew to heal up. And then finished off the strays. Could have used those bones just a few minutes ago. That would have been very nice. And a little later on day 13, our luck turned around as we got another chest from the one block, and this one had 2 pieces of ice. With that, we now had the ability to make an infinite water source, which was going to be huge moving forward. And the one block then spawned us another wolf. This time with the bones from the strays we killed earlier, we were able to tame him, and we finally had a pet. On day 14, we started harvesting a bunch of spruce logs. And I must say, I really like how they never turn into stupid trees, only normal trees. We also kept building up the Squawk Squad. And at night we got to work mining the one block again. This time it gave us a polar bear. And after a few 100,000 gentle nudges, he ended up arriving at our mob farm circle. Back at our one block, a monster party spawned in. This was the first time I knew this was a possibility, so yeah, I was not really prepared for it, but our trap was still working perfectly, so it was no issue at all. On day 16, I continued to gather as many spruce logs as possible, while also making some shears so I could grab the leaves too. I then got to work placing a layer of spruce logs around the entire edge of both of our circles. And once that was done, I got to work placing 2 layers of spruce leaves on top of those spruce logs. And when it was all said and done, I was actually really pleased with the way it turned out. I thought it looked awesome. Definitely made our whole area look a lot better, so... also protected our chickens and our polar bear from wandering off the edge, so that was a nice little added bonus as well. But yeah, very happy with how it turned out. On day 17, I decided to properly space out the tree farm, as well as build these little wooden platforms around each piece of dirt just to make it look nice. This took me all the way to day 18, but I was very happy with the way it turned out. And as the sun set on day 18, we decided to reinforce the ranks of our Nugget Battalion. The one block then gave us 2 more strays, and they again decided to fight each other. I want you guys to pause the video right now, go to the comment section, and comment either left or right, based on which stray you think is going to win this fight. Alright, let's go! Now go make fun of anybody who guessed left. And on the night of day 19, the one block upgraded, and now it was giving us ocean and water related blocks and items and mobs. On day 20, I expanded the platform around our one block, as there were a couple close calls, and this whole hardcore thing was really making me nervous. And then we spent most of day 21 harvesting oak logs at our tree farm. After harvesting a bunch of oak logs and turning it into oak planks, we began the construction of a third circle section to our platform. We were able to make a good amount of progress, but needed to resupply on our wood. Boink! Hey look, another stupid tree. And finally I was able to finish off the third circle. Although Mother Nature certainly was not impressed. I'm really starting to regret building this entire thing out of wood. On day 27, I returned to harvesting the OneBlock. I really recommend putting a torch underneath, as it will automatically harvest the gravel and sand and any falling blocks. Turtles! Next up, I built an infinite water source which would double up as a place for the turtles to cool off. Not long after, a drown would try and put an end to this world, but we would have none of it. And a little later on day 27, we got our first diamond from the OneBlock. I then had to take care of a guardian. And as the sun set, I got back to harvesting some more oak logs. Then the OneBlock started spawning in some fish. Unfortunately, there was no water, so I put them in my bucket as quick as possible, and I put them in the source block of water / sea turtle cooling off area / fish tank. We were really getting a lot of use out of that little 4x4 area. And the OneBlock was very active on day 27, as not too long after, it spawned in an Elder Guardian. Now luckily these things are almost as stupid as the big trees, and they just launch themselves right off the edge of the map, so that made my life easy. Another diamond, and then it gave us even more fish, this time some salmon. On the night of day 28, the OneBlock gave us an axolotl. And I completely forgot they're hostile towards other fish. Whoopsie. So I made him a tiny little water source area on the other side of our platform. On day 29, it gave us some dolphins, but unfortunately there was no way I was going to be able to keep these things alive. A little later, the OneBlock had given us some grass, and I wanted to take advantage of that, so I built a dirt pathway over to the most recent circle platform that we had built. I then got to work building the wall of that third circle platform, except this time instead of using spruce logs and spruce leaves, I was going to use oak logs and oak leaves, just to change up the color a little bit. That took me well into the night of day 29, but I was very happy with the progress we had made, and I really liked the fact that the color was a little bit different than the other two platforms. I think I like the look of the spruce logs and the spruce leaves more, but it was nice to have some variation. I then got to work on designing our third circular platform. This was going to be our farming platform. I placed a ring of dirt in the middle and outlined it with some spruce stairs. I then made another ring of spruce stairs in the middle. This would contain a pond in the future. I can't wait for you guys to see how it turned out. I was really happy with the way it looked in the end. But unfortunately at this point I had run out of dirt, so the construction had to be paused for a little bit. Our only source of dirt was the OneBlock itself, so I went back to harvesting the OneBlock, and then another monster party spawned in, this time with the Aqua theme. Again, there was an Elder Guardian, and again he just yeeted himself off the edge, so that was nice and easy. But yeah, overall our trap worked really well. One of the Guardians had escaped it, but it did not pose too much of a problem for us at all. On day 31, the OneBlock gave us another chest. This one had a trident inside, as well as a bucket of cod and a bucket of salmon. And then I had reached another upgrade point. After that, I began construction of the pond I mentioned earlier. And using a bunch of different ocean monument blocks, I was able to come up with a design I really liked. Now all that was left was to fill it with water, and a bunch of fish and sea life. On day 33 I finished the project, and this is the final result. Let me know if you guys like it as much as I do. To finish off day 33, I converted all of my gravel into coarse dirt, and then I converted the coarse dirt back into regular dirt, as I needed a lot more dirt to finish off our farming area. The area was starting to come together now, looking really good. I was just waiting for the grass to finish spreading over here, which was taking a very long time. On day 34, I got to work on building our fourth circular platform. And just as I finished, look what I found. More animal abuse. On day 36, I was able to finish off that fourth platform. And then I needed more oak logs and more oak leaves for the walls. And on day 38, I finished placing the walls down for our fourth circular platform. Here's how everything was looking from the middle of our world. I then used a water stream to get a view of our base from underneath. And got back to work harvesting logs. And after spending the previous few days gathering enough wood to make it possible, I started work on our next project, which was an experience/mob farm. Usually I would use a tutorial for these sorts of things, but in this case I decided I just kind of wanted to try going off memory. There's a couple things I couldn't exactly remember on exactly how it worked. I built this, I believe, 23 blocks above ground level, which is supposed to damage the mobs just enough that they become a one-hit kill when they land, but I ended up being wrong on that. But yeah, enjoy the building process, and I'll see you guys on the other side. And to this point in the world, I hadn't even built a bed yet, and I hadn't seen one phantom. So of course they decide to strike the one time I'm building a super tall structure and could easily fall off to my death, causing the world to end. Luckily we were able to escape without harm, but yeah, what are the odds that the one time I'm way up in the sky is finally when the phantoms spawn for the first time in this world. So the night of day 42 ended up being the first time I went to sleep since the world started. I then got back to work building the mob experience farm. And with the farm all finished, I used a water bucket and went back down to the bottom. The farm seemed to be working well, except I must have built it one block too high as all the mobs were dying as soon as they landed. And as I was working on a fix, my mob farm produced the smallest, most absurd cavalry unit in history. Yup, a chicken jockey. A few moments later, the farm was fixed and it was working like a charm. After that, I relocated all of my chests as well as my crafting table and my furnaces over to the same platform that the mob farm was home to. And now with the chests all out of the way, I was excited to spiff up the area around our one block. Using a combination of cobblestone and spruce wood stairs, I made a pyramid-like structure surrounding it. By the end of day 47 it was finished, and this is how it looked. I was really happy with the way it turned out. I thought it looked super clean. I added some doors for easy access inside, and it was all finished. I then extended our log and leaf walls around the one block pyramid we had just built in order to make sure there was no risk of falling off the map, as I am definitely clumsy when it comes to Minecraft. In the end, this is how it looked, and again I was very happy with how it turned out and how clean everything was looking. On day 49 I was planting some wheat next to our pond, and I kept hearing this annoying squeaking sound, and eventually I found a bat hiding underneath of our pond here, so we definitely made sure to get rid of him. And later that day we keep increasing the size of our squawk squad. Then I spent the beginning of day 50 harvesting the one block. A little bit later on day 50, the one block gave us a horse. Using sheer willpower instead of saddles, we were finally able to get the horse into our farming platform. On day 50, the one block decided to give us some potions, but not in the way I was hoping for. On day 51, we got another diamond, and another horse. On day 52, we put our mob farm to use, hoping to get some bows, maybe an enchanted one, as well as some armor, but unfortunately we had no such luck. A little later on day 52, the one block decided to spawn in some Vexes, or is it just Vex? I'm not sure. But yeah, these guys are extremely frustrating to hit, that is for sure. And as the sun was setting on day 52, the grass had finally spread to our dirt ring we had made earlier. I didn't even know grass could spread like this, but I will take it. We then expanded the wheat farm. And on day 53, we witnessed the impressive vertical of one of our frogs. Then got back to harvesting the one block. As the sun was setting on day 53, we were hit with another monster party as I was trying to collect loot from a chest. but we were able to take care of all of them fairly easily. Shortly after, we were provided with a panda. Then on day 55, the one block spawned a chest, and we found a diamond inside. After destroying the chest, it was time for the one block to upgrade yet again. The block was now giving us desert and mesa biome themed blocks, and of course along with it come the husks. During the night of day 55, we got another diamond. Followed up by some pillagers. And then the one block gave us our first villager. But keeping in line with our survival series, I decided I wasn't going to be doing any villager trading. That being said, we did keep him around just to have some company. Day 56 was a little bit sweet and sour. We did get a diamond, but along with it came a brutal axe murderer. But we gave him a taste of his own medicine. Then a wandering trader appeared at the wrong place and at the wrong time. And on day 57, another monster party had arrived. Luckily, these ones were no match for our trap. On day 58, I worked on building a proper wheat farm, as I didn't like the way the wheat looked around our pond. On day 58, we bred up our mushrooms, because I wanted to get an enchanting setup going as soon as possible, and I had a feeling that the one block was going to upgrade to the nether biome very soon. Along those same lines, we then set up a sugarcane farm, but I only had a single piece of sugarcane to work with in the beginning. On day 59, we got our second villager. And on the night of day 60, the one block was ready to upgrade again. As I was hoping, the next phase was the nether phase. To finish off day 60, we spent some quality time with our pet parrot. Worried about the potential of the one block spawning in a ghast, on day 61, we added an addition to our one block harvesting area to catch any ghasts that spawned in. Once completed, this is how it looked. On day 62, the one block spawned in some wither skeletons. But unfortunately, they did not drop their heads. It was then time to put our Ghast Catcher 3000 to the test. And it worked like a charm. Then the one block summoned a blaze. I thought I took care of it relatively easily, but when I turned around I realized a portion of my base was completely engulfed in flames. And on day 63 I was minding my own business, harvesting the one block, and this happened. If your answer to the title was no, I'm afraid you were correct. After 63 days in this world, I did not succeed in surviving 100 days. And I was extremely disappointed, but in my defense, it was my first time playing one block. I guess second time if you include the survival world I had attempted earlier. But it was also one of the first times I ever attempted hardcore in Minecraft in general. And yeah, I'm not very good at the game, so I can't say I was super surprised. Thank you all so much for watching. I am sorry I wasn't able to last until 100 days, but that said, if you enjoyed this, I highly recommend you check out my survival series. I recently just put out a video that's 7 hours long that includes all of the videos so far in that series, so you can get caught up in one go. And yeah, other than that, if you guys want to see me try Hardcore OneBlock again, let me know in the comments. I'm determined to get to 100 days at some point. But yeah, again, just thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put a link to that survival series video at the end of this video, and I hope to see you guys again soon.